Sam Albiez, Ravi in Canberra. How are you?
Good, thank you, Jim. How are you?
Very good. Thanks for your time, Sam. I really want to get a quick touch base on this federal budget. It's interesting. It seems to be one of a lucky country. Deficits going to extraordinary heights. We seem to be running off the back of an iron ore train, but it seems to be some of the people calling it the care budget. More care, more money for women, more money for aged care and disability care. What's your take on it, and how will it affect Bravium's clients?
It's a good question, Jim. I wasn't shocked by the budget.
Okay.
I do think that we were expecting a spending budget, given we were coming off the back with COVID-19, the pandemic, obviously, the government's keen to create more jobs and lower taxes. So I think given their, firm stance on those 2 points specifically, we were always going to see, big spending in relation to healthcare, big spending in relation to aged care and infrastructure in particular, lots of business and small business incentives, which is really important. So I think from those perspectives, there's no real shocks in the budget this year.
Okay. And what's your take? Are we just lucky, off the back of iron ore at $220 a tonne, and it seems to be, low interest rates at the moment. And whilst there's obviously two-speed economies all over Australia, those in education, those in hospitality, those in tourism are really still feeling it, but others seem to be booming. And with low interest rates, it seems the government's going, let's get out there and spend.
Yeah, I think that there is an element of we are lucky, but I do, when we consider, what we've gone through over the last 2 years as a country, we've had fires, floods, we've had everything in between. I think when you consider all of those challenges that we've had as a country, how we've been able to come together and really take a stance, I think the challenge of the pandemic, we just took it in our stride, to be honest.
Yeah, we did.
And so I think because of those factors, and also through government leadership as well, the government really kind of said that they were willing to do anything from a fiscal support stance, which I think was really important. That provided everyday Australians with a lot of sense of financial security, which was really important. So from that perspective, we are lucky, but we've also proven that we're beyond lucky, and we've kind of cemented our feet in the global footprint of the world. And where other countries are now kind of collapsing due to COVID or other economic struggles, we're kind of in this thriving economic recovery. So it's an interesting two-speed cycle, like you said.
Should Bravium's clients be concerned about the level of debt we're getting into as a country? You got any ramifications of that in terms of your advice to how you are advising your clients?
It's not something that we're consciously, making specific advice in relation to. It is, in the back of my mind. I'm 29 in a few weeks. I know that for myself and, if I have a family, it's something that we will likely see for a long time. But in the same breath, we've shown that we'll be able to continue to grow. And I think through that growth, we'll be able to grow out of the debt. And I think that's quite a smart strategy that ScoMo has applied in relation to the debt. And we've already seen through the budget that we've just released that, our deficit isn't as bad as what they thought it would be. And they're already predicting that over the next couple of years, it's not going to be as bad as what was initially thought. So I think the outlook's not as bad as what it could have been.
No concern, Sam, about sort of this ridiculous interest in property and what it's doing to property pricing and low interest rates and the debt that might, and a couple of percentage points changes in that when the inflation genie gets out of the bottle again. No concerns about that?
It's definitely having impacts on our decisions and the conversations that we're having with clients. We do have a lot of clients at the moment that are in that, do we buy our first home? Do we not buy our first home? I think as long as we're making really smart decisions in relation to the types of assets that we're holding, that we're still invested in some form of assets that's going to provide us a growth opportunity, that's important, because you don't want to get left behind when the train's left the station. So those are definitely the conversations we're having with our clients. But it is an important consideration for us, but it's not something that we're necessarily worried about. You know, cycles happen. It is an unprecedented type level of growth at the moment, but at the same time, we are also seeing, you know, unprecedented levels of consumer confidence, and unprecedented levels of, you know, people's savings, etc. So I think there's a lot of different factors that are driving this kind of growth.
So it seems that, yep, it's got some of these things, the long-term debt's in the back of your mind, the interest rate, Jeannie, yeah, that's in the back of your mind. But yeah, we've got good reasons to be quite confident. Obviously, with Bravium and paving the path for people over a long period of time and helping them with those different decisions as they come to different transitions in life, you know, it will help them. But there's, from this budget, you're getting a good message that, yeah, it was a good budget. We expected it. We much better than where we thought we might be 12 months ago. And it's something to now, let's gently go forward, but confidently, let's expand upon all the savings and the care that's been given and do what we need to do.
Absolutely. I think when we, you know, wind our minds back to March and April last year, even further beyond that, we had no way of measuring the level of uncertainty that was, you know, facing us. And now we're definitely in a far more informed position, and we can really, you know, move forward with great confidence. You know, there will be hiccups along the way. We're still in a global pandemic, but we have greater knowledge as, you know, what government response is likely to be. You know, we know what happens now when you shut down a global economy. So it's not I guess, unprecedented type events now. We will get mutations in the virus. That's going to be okay. You know, the market might wobble a bit here and there, but it's now not, I guess, a shock. We know that we can live with it, and we know that we can move forward.
Sam, that's been great. Thanks for your update. It's really important to get what you think is going to be the consequences of such a significant financial statement. And so I'm sure anyone listening to this is going to be even more assured that, you know, the coming times, it's, yeah, okay, there's some interesting times ahead, but we've weathered a pretty difficult period and look like we're going to be heading for some good growth.
Yeah, not a problem, Jim. Always happy to have a chat.